Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Illinois Green Party podcast. I'm here with my friend and fellow Green Party member, Gokhan Cukurova. Um, Welcome and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hi. You said my name perfectly, Gokhan Cukurova. I am.
Thank you.
Um I live in Chicago area, raising three kids. Always been in and around uh, labor movement,
Hmm.
exposed to it, have it in my blood. My grandfather was a union organizer. There's a deep story about that I can tell you later. A very proud story. I've been involved with Illinois Green Party, coming close to 2 years now, I think. And I am a candidate for Medinah Park District Commissioner. That's my second time running. 2 years ago, we missed it by 42 votes because the uh, board is made out of five commissioners.
Hmm.
Two runs for election in one election cycle, and then the other three runs 2 years after that. So we did some good moves and some good changes. And I think, especially when you're in activist mindset,
Hmm.
there's always room for improvement.
Yes,
So why not push it forward more?
exactly. So you won your seat by 42 votes? Is that
No,
what you
I
said?
no,
Or you missed it?
I lost it. I missed it by 42. Correct.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. I mean, being an
Mhm.
activist, you never give up, right? You just
Yeah.
keep coming back. Wow. So, labor organizer. Yeah. So your dad was a union guy. My dad was a union guy.
My grandpa, my
Oh, your
mom's
grandpa.
dad, uh, early 50s, late 40s in Turkey.
Mhm. Oh,
He
okay.
was a teacher
Hmm.
and he was active. I guess I'm assuming he was well known. In 1950, a right wing party takes over and expels him from his university teaching job to southeastern Turkey to an elementary school job in the middle of February. And we're talking about 1950, 51, Turkey, mountains, snow. And my grandma used to say, my mom was 2 years old. She had double blankets around my mother so she wouldn't freeze to death because there was no heat in the train. So initially wanted to go on his own and leave the family at their comfort zone in Istanbul. Grandma says, "No, we're a family. Wherever you go, that's where we go."
That's right.
So after a few years, they came back. He got his job back, but he dedicated his life, almost remaining his career, to orphans,
Oh,
orphanage. Yeah,
wow. That's quite a thing to do. That's a lot of work, a lot of emotional things to go
I
through.
guess. Yeah, very. I mean, you gotta have very big heart, a great passion for children.
Yes. Yes.
So
I
I tried to organize my workplace twice. Um, I used to be a teamster,
hmm.
and I used to work at Cisco,
Oh, okay.
and I still have my great union brothers in touch. And not the place I work currently, the one before that, I tried to unionize there,
Hmm.
and all of a sudden I got laid off right in the middle of COVID when everybody needed truck drivers. As a truck driver, I got laid off. I was uh, what you call it, terminated for being unsafe. Then I had to go to court with them.
Wow.
I won the case. Yes,
Yeah.
because I was not being unsafe. For example, I don't want to take too much time with this, but semi trucks are not supposed to make U turns
Mm-hmm.
unless police or emergency crew directs you,
Okay.
and that was the case. Even though we had cameras in all our trucks, for some reason that video footage disappeared. Of course, they got the wind of my organizing efforts.
Yeah.
Uh, a Teamster uh, leader I spoke to happens to be an old childhood friend of the owner's son. Look at that.
Yeah, that's what do they call that? Business unionism. They go make
Right, right, right.
deals, and the members
Yellow,
really get a say.
yeah, yellow unions. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but I did fight really hard, and thankfully I had two good attorney friends.
Mm-hmm.
One used to be labor relations attorney in New York City back in the day,
Nice.
and but unfortunately I could not prove that they retaliated
Yeah.
due to my organizing efforts because they started everything
Mm-hmm.
after 180 days after I was terminated. So there's a legal time limit. So I didn't know. Of course, now if anybody is listening, if
Yeah.
you have any suspicion that you are terminated because of your organizing efforts, make sure you speak to a lawyer before 180 days is over. That's your
Right.
limit. After that, you cannot go after them. But
Wow. That's very important to
anyway,
know.
yes, yes. And I am 49 years old. I was never terminated up until that time, 4 years ago. Long story short, I won and I made them pay dearly, which is wonderful. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but there's always been against injustice. Can
Mm-hmm.
you tell? I was a fresh immigrant in America, a few years in, maybe 2, 3 years in. I took Best Buy headquarters to court twice, and
Mm-hmm.
I won both of them.
Wow.
And when I left the courthouse, I was like, I love this country. You know?
Well, you went a
Yeah.
step further than most people are willing to go. People people just I mean, a lot of Americans just kind of accept it. What am I going to do? That's what they do. What am I going to do? I don't think that's in my vocabulary. Or if I say what am I going to do, I mean it by like what am I going to do about it?
Right, right.
Yeah. So, but good on you. And so you are the DuPage County Political Director and you're running for office. Tell us about the importance of running for office in our communities. There's city councils, there's all kinds of positions that people could run for.
It is. I can't even tell you how important it is. Like the longest journey starts with one step, right? This
Hmm.
is what it is exactly. Because smaller, quote unquote, not so important seats actually are the most important
Mm,
because that's where you get your feet wet. That's where you get your experience. That's where you learn how to speak or behave in a board meeting. That's where you get to know your neighbors.
yeah.
That's where you organize your neighbors. And there were days, thanks, uh, Anna came out door knocking with me last time around in Samira. Uh, Several days I did like 30,000 plus steps,
Wow.
and it helped me a lot. The name
Yeah.
recognition, although I have a very hard name, it's not John Smith, but there are plenty of that anyway, so it stands out. Even though I guess I was doing the right thing by going to the people
Mm-hmm.
because your political affiliation, your religious background, your ethnicity, most people, thankfully. don't care much about it, but your presentation, your genuine interest to what they think
Yes.
about the issues related to the seat I'm running. Uh,
Mhm.
Several neighbors told me, and where I live is people live here for a long time. It's not
Mm.
full of people who just moved in here a couple of years ago. And several people told me that I've been living here over 20 years and not a single candidate knocked on my door. It was always volunteers.
Mhm.
And that was a great compliment, all honesty.
Yes.
So if my tax money is going into my library, my parks, my schools,
Hmm.
I can't whine about anything if I don't do anything about it. Of course, not everybody's going to have the time or courage to run, but almost nobody goes to park meetings.
Hmm.
For the longest time, maybe 5 years, I was one of the two people,
Wow.
sometimes alone by myself in the meetings. Um, but of course, that makes the sitting officials more comfortable.
Hmm.
Just like think about voter suppression. The less people vote, less hard you need
Yeah.
to work to win that seat again. Make
Yeah.
sense?
That's true. That's why.
So
That's
it's
why
all
the midterms are easier to win instead of the general because less people vote. So your votes count for more.
it was not even 21% turnout on the election I ran.
Wow.
Yeah, it was embarrassing. It was embarrassing for the community. But it all started with me requesting a safety feature at the nearest park at my house. Since I have three kids back then, I had only one, but still, I'm not the only one with that child in the neighborhood. So the interactions with the park board
Hmm.
and management was very disappointing. And I started going to the meetings, and I called for board to immediately fire the executive director to his face.
Mm.
Thankfully, he's retired. When he got his retirement, he immediately found a replacement. I guess he got tired of being at meetings all the time.
Yeah.
Uh,
What
and
was the
we do have a
safety?
new.
Oh, what was the safety
Um,
feature that you wanted?
yes. So there was a. I say there was because that park, thanks to community power, that park is completely redone now.
Nice.
They found the money. Um, there was a tiny bridge from playground to a place set, like a little island,
Hmm.
and the fencing between railing, the main park fence, and the railing to that bridge was too big. Not only my kid, I've seen so many kids, more than a dozen kids, almost fell through there,
Oh, because it was
and I
too far
brought it
apart.
up. Exactly.
Mm.
So they didn't they didn't even return my call or email for a long time. I'm like, this is not happening. And when I heard on their website that park commissioners were gonna go and inspect the parks, I took my chick my wife uh, used her vegetable.
Uh-oh, we're having the trouble again. Check your earphone.
I
Oh,
needed,
wait,
I
like
hear you.
like a tapping. I don't know.
Okay,
Maybe it'll stop.
maybe
I can
can
hear you
you
a little. Hmm.
um, close it down? Is it
Can you hear me still?
yeah?
Okay. Um, check your headphone. Maybe turn it off. I don't know if it's doing something.
Okay.
Try that now. Say something now. Oh, now you're muted. Unmute.
Now?
There we go. How
Okay.
about now? Yeah.
All right.
Oh, technology.
Sounds
Gotta
good.
love
Sounds good.
it.
So I our chicken wire before they arrived and wired that gap with chicken
Uh,
wire. And I had a little machine from my photography days to laminate prints. I made a printout, laminated, and hung it on that chicken wire, saying that the park district has been warned about the safety concern. And for the longest time, they never returned my calls, whatever, and
mhm.
please keep an eye on your children, etc. And I
Yeah.
guess some of the neighbors were at the park when they came to inspect, and from afar, the executive director looked very angry, to be embarrassed in front of the commissioners. Again, it's good to know your neighbors. They keep
Mhm.
an eye on things. Um, but like you said, it is the most important step to step up and say,
Yeah. Yeah. We had, I don't know if you watched me interviewing Macklin McLoogie from Carbondale. We petitioned the Carbondale City Council to pass a
"Mhm,
ceasefire resolution, and it went from putting up with us to shushing us to basically intolerance, and they cut the room in half. It was kind of eye opening, and they told us that they didn't have to answer any questions and they didn't have to respond in any way, and we weren't allowed to call out anybody individually. I'm like, I didn't know there were so many rules to go talk to your government.
why are they standing up to do the Pledge of Allegiance before meetings then, right?
Mm. Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Yep.
So I stormed the room once, only once, when they took out citizens' comment section out of the agenda twice in a row.
Mm.
So first time I thought it was just a mishap. I gave them the uh, benefit of the second time it happened.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I made them feel that heat. Everybody was red in that room when I left. No,
Yeah.
this um, as much as I disagree with most of American foreign policy, a lot of domestic policy.
Mm-hmm.
Still, this is my country. I love it. I
Mm-hmm.
love her, and I believe she needs to be in better hands. She deserves better.
Yes.
So, uh, just because we disagree with many things doesn't mean we don't love our country. That's not gonna work. If
Actually,
you don't
actually,
have
I would say we love it even more. We love it enough to change it for the better.
exactly,
I
exactly. I
mean,
mean,
we just don't sit back and put up with whatever happens. We love it enough to take it back from the people that are misusing our tax
thank you
dollars,
for saying
misusing our
that.
military. So
Thank
many.
you for saying that. We basically belong to a party that has a backbone. It's not slimy. It has principles. It puts people before profits. It cares about the entire planet.
Mm.
And we we are the party that says this is the most important. The climate change is the most important national security problem.
Mm.
And where is everybody else? Uh,
You never
well,
hear them even mentioning it.
I mean, even in a presidential debate, I actually made a joke about it on the social media, saying it was so refreshing to see Kamala Harris and Donald Trump spend so much time during the debate on climate change. Because I didn't hear one.
Not one word. Oh, it's just a contest of personalities, and as Jill Stein's running mate, Butch Rudolph
Hmm.
in where in Illinois, you have to write Rudolph, says who funds you runs you. So
Exactly.
you got to look at the money. Green Party, the max donation is
Follow,
$3,300.
follow the money.
Yep.
Exactly. Versus Kamala Harris last month received $5 million from APEC, and um, I wanted to say something because you reminded me about
Okay.
Green Party. Like when you said we love it more. Yeah, we love it more. So we don't line up behind whatever is put in front of us.
Yes.
You either choose blue or red, which is basically the same cloth, same material, just different color. That's what they are. Uh,
Hmm.
This is what it is. If 90% plus of their donors are the same corporations,
Hmm.
going back to what Dr. Ware says, uh, who funds them, runs them, basically.
Hmm. Yeah.
So
Well, and some of the
it's
same
not
people donate to both parties.
right. So either way, they win.
Yeah.
No,
So,
I am
I mean, there's pictures
100%.
of Bill Clinton and Donald Trump standing next to each other at a party. It's the elite. It's the wealthy. It's a big club, and you're not in it, according to George Carlin.
Right. But at the end, they won't give up that power so easy. We know that.
No.
People will really have to sacrifice their time, if not money, but time, to talk to their neighbors.
Hmm.
I say, whoever, whoever I go and talk, I say what I will just tell you, and I get 100% positive feedback.
Okay.
If a candidate of any political party has enough signatures to be on the ballot, whether it's a Nazi party, Socialist Party, Communist Party, Green Party, Pink Party, Yellow Party, doesn't matter. If they have enough signatures to be on the ballot for president of United States nationally,
Hmm.
they must be on the debate stage. And me, the voter, decide because
Right.
uh, I I look at libertarians, um the establishment on steroids. Their policies are even scarier. But I don't mind listening to a libertarian
Yeah.
or a socialist or an ultra right wing candidate. Let me decide, not
Well, yeah.
a, a, a
I agree.
corporation
I agree.
funded.
Here's what I'll say. If you are afraid to listen to someone who disagrees with you, that's fear. You're not so set. I mean, you're not so set in what you believe and what your values are to like open your mind to maybe learn something because you might disagree with 99 out of 100 things somebody says, but you might agree on one, and then you can
But
learn from
if
each
I'm the
other. Hmm.
exactly, if I'm the voter, I need to make my own decision.
Hmm.
But of course, we are drowned and dominated by mainstream corporate media propaganda. Um,
Propaganda. Hmm.
it is what it is. Look at Jill Stein. I mean, I don't agree with her on every single thing, but I don't agree with my mom or my wife on every single thing either.
Exactly.
Also, look at it this way: uh, show me one political party that promotes equality, promotes abolition of electoral college,
Hmm.
gerrymandering, uh, college education,
Yeah.
social housing, The list goes on, and they say, "Oh my God, this is such a big, long wish list." What are you talking about? If it sounds right, you gotta go for it.
So
You
so
can't
here,
just
yeah, here's an example.
wait for people to give it to you. I mean, in 2010, Obama had a supermajority,
He did.
but they didn't codify Roe versus Wade.
Nope.
Now, Kamala Harris can cry and whine about a woman's rights and give some explanations or examples of uh, women dying in a car in a parking lot to dramatize it. But
Mhm.
where were you in 2010?
If it was that important,
Because
why didn't they make it
this
law already? They've had 50 years.
Roe, Roe is gone under their watch.
Hmm.
Genocide in Gaza under their watch.
Yes.
Railroad workers lost their strike under their watch.
Yep.
I think out of all, there is, of course, if I'm going to say something bad about somebody, I'm going to push myself to find something good about it. At least one thing that's good about them. Uh, Biden put Lena Khan in Federal
Oh,
Trade Commission. I love her.
yeah.
And hey, he put her there. And if you remember, if you heard, one big Democratic Party donor told Kamala Harris campaign that he will write a blank check if she promised to fire Alina Khan when elected. Imagine that.
Yeah.
This is like how bottom paid for these two parties. How about we have national holidays on election? How about we
Mhm.
have the elections in May? Most of the country is not so cold, not too hot.
Yeah.
How about we give federal tax incentives to states that actually increase the number of poll places?
Mm. Yeah.
How about we uh, open the entire country to ranked choice voting? It's
I think
gonna
that's
work
on her list as
for
well,
them.
isn't it?
What's that?
I said I think that's on Jill's list as well. She wants to
Of course,
do
of course,
ranked
of
choice
course.
voting. Um, how about, for starters, making the signature count equal? Why do the established parties have get a break?
Yes,
I mean, just
unfortunately,
because they've been there.
most
What is
people
it
don't
like?
know.
444 for Democrats, 1,000 for Republicans, and over 25,000 for anyone else.
Right,
In Illinois,
right.
that's
And
ridiculous.
when I tell this to my friends at work, they don't believe it. I have to find it on the internet to show them from the Board of Election website. It's
Yep.
ridiculous that I had to actually take a screenshot to save it, so I don't have to look it up all the time. It's not fair.
No.
It's like that's a very tactical movement for them to not to lose power, whether it's Democrat. Here, Illinois is one of the toughest states in terms of getting elected as an independent uh, or green or libertarian, a third party or independent, completely independent.
Anyone.
Right?
So
So that way, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I went to be, I'm gonna be an election judge because I want to go
Yeah.
learn, and it's nice to make a little bit of money. It's not a lot, but
Hmm.
mostly I want to go
Where are
learn
you?
how the
Are you in
system
Cook
works.
County? Are you in
No,
Cook County?
no, I am in Jackson County. I live in Carbondale.
Okay.
I'm 6 hours
Okay.
south of Chicago. I'm where
Yeah.
SIU is.
Cook, Cook
And
County pays good. DuPage is half of that.
oh yeah. um but I couldn't even say that I was green or independent when they because they're trying to pair you up. You have to choose
Yeah.
Democrat or Republican. And I like trying to get the words out of my mouth. They almost wouldn't come. I think I whispered it to her. Like I can't even say it. Because I have such animosity and just disdain for those
Hmm.
two parties now. I mean, they're both genocide parties.
It's
Um,
a very rewarding experience, though. I was
okay.
in 2016,
Yeah,
and
I'm excited
uh,
to learn.
your feet will hate you, but you will feel the reward of establishing something really great.
Yes. Protecting the vote.
Yes.
Absolutely. Um, I did want to mention something that I did last night uh, for everyone to check out. I went to SIU. The YDSA put on a documentary, and I think it was Morris Library at SIU. It was a documentary created by Al Jazeera documenting the war crimes in Gaza. It was a tough watch, but all it did, after I cried for a while, all it did was make me want to do more to stop this. I don't know why it hasn't stopped yet, except for these people are bought and paid for. And that's why
Follow
we
the
need
money.
to vote
Hmm.
for Jill. Vote for Jill. She can win. Just vote for her.
um, there is no better way to vote, even though it's not gonna change the fact. Okay, mark my words.
Okay.
Today is October 15th. It's 7:33 p.m. And say Gokhan said this. Buckle up, brace for impact, and ready for orange diarrhea to become president again.
Mm,
We do have we until every vote is counted, we still have a chance.
yes.
Knowing the psychological background and political intelligence of majority of voters in this country, uh, I am not holding my breath for a biggest comeback or upset of American political history. So sorry. Do you need help? Okay. Can you sit down there? All right. I am in a recording now. Okay. Thank you.
Who is that?
That's Maria, my daughter. My son is in the swim practice. My
Okay.
wife, with the baby, went back to uh, bring him home. You can grab a book and start reading upstairs. Okay? No, no. Your books. My books when you grow up a little bit. She's 8.
How old is she?
Almost.
Uh,
Almost 8,
almost
going
8.
18.
Yeah,
Um,
I would say
what was I saying?
you were saying get ready for orange diarrhea. Um,
Okay, so I apologize for the language, but that's what I
that's
think about the
okay.
guy. And where I want to come with this is that I will write in Jill Stein and Rudolph Ware because, in my all honesty, there is absolutely no other way of voting.
Yes.
I can't vote for a draft dodger who acts as anything else.
Hmm.
He's Christian, he's patriot, he's anything what he doesn't say. On the other side is by international law a war criminal.
Hmm.
Okay, um, when I see barbarism at this scale, I'm sorry.
You shouldn't
Even
be
if
sorry.
no, no, I'm sorry. Even if
Yeah.
the line is 9 hour long,
Yeah.
that vote is precious. Those babies without, decapitated babies. Uh-uh. No. Regardless of their race, religion, no innocent people should be bombed like that, especially in 21st century, especially under our, in front of our eyes with our taxpayer paid bomb.
Yes.
I don't,
What? What I've been
Is
oh,
for it.
it's doing that again. It's clicking. I don't know.
Well,
What I've been telling people is, where are you going to write your name? Whose name are you going to put your name beside? Somebody that's enabling and paying for and supporting and giving political cover for a genocide that's murdering civilians, or someone that is a convicted criminal that would do the same thing if they were in office. I
of
can't
course,
put my name.
the,
I mean, that's history. You're saying I endorse this by putting your name, checking that box, and I
exactly.
cannot endorse
And
that.
2 points I want to make. Pretend DEA arrests the Mexican drug cartel's leader.
Hmm.
He's in prison, and cartel crosses the border, murders 1,200 Americans, and kidnaps 200. Goes back in Mexico. Does that give us the right to wipe them out of the map like that?
To destroy
Of
all of
course not.
Mexico.
Of course not.
No.
So, but, but, trust me, because they played this before. Uh, even though I will do anything and everything for a greener outcome of this election.
Hmm.
Uh, if Kamala Harris lost to Donald Trump on November 5th, first thing they will do is to blame Jill Stein.
Oh
They've
yeah.
done it before. They've done it to Ralph Nader.
Yeah.
But my point is this: if your candidate was so good, so much better than the opposite, how come it's such a close race then?
Well,
And
yeah.
just just because I don't follow your policies,
Hmm.
why do you think I still have to vote for you? My vote is mine. It belongs to me. It
Yes.
is precious. And if you want it, come and get it. You know what to do.
Yes. We have been
I am
telling
not going to
them.
line up.
We have been telling
Exactly.
them what we expect. It is like 67% of the country wants a ceasefire and an arms embargo against Israel. They
Yeah.
want it to stop
Yeah.
immediately. So they have no one to blame but themselves if they lose. It
But
is their fault because they
exactly.
refuse to do the will of the American people.
But of course, they will blame. They will shift the blame somewhere else.
Of course.
Um, when Al Gore lost in 2000 to George W. Bush,
Mm.
go look it up. He didn't win Tennessee. That was his home state.
Hmm.
Okay. He was a congressman from Tennessee for years. If he won that state, he didn't need Florida win.
Yeah.
And later on, he admitted that if I won Tennessee, it would be in the bag.
Right.
And according to exit polls, because Ralph Nader got maybe like 3 or 5 million votes,
Hmm.
um, they said people who voted 25%.
Say again. It's doing it again. Sorry, you guys are having a little bit of technical difficulty. We're not sure why. Okay, try now. Um, let me unmute you. There you go. Try
How's it
again.
now?
It's great now. I don't know. I don't know. We got a little
Okay. Oh, oh,
little squirrel running around in there somewhere or
hey,
something.
who knows? Must be the hackers. Cyber. Anyway, um, 25 people said if Green Party was not on the ballot, 25% of them was going to vote W. Bush, and
Mm,
39 were going to vote uh, Gore. The remaining said they would just stay home.
yep.
So if I don't believe in your policies, you have absolutely no right
Mm-hmm.
to play a guilt game on me to
Yeah.
vote for you. Scared me with Donald Trump. Let me tell you what I think the difference between Donald Trump and Kamala Harris is.
Okay.
If Jill Stein doesn't win, the main difference between Donald Trump and Kamala Harris is 7,000 pounds. What do you mean by that? Instead of 2 to 3,000 pound bombs Kamala Harris will drop on Gaza, Donald will drop 10,000. But that's not going to change the fact that innocent people will continue to die.
That's
But
right.
this is a great opportunity for uh, Muslim Americans, Arab Americans to recognize the difference between a party with discipline and a history of following that rhetoric, following that policies, versus the duopoly.
Mm-hmm.
Because as much as you dislike Donald Trump, remember who gave him to us, the Democrats.
Hillary Clinton.
Failing policies, lying, not just that, not just her, Hillary Clinton, Obama, Bill, before that, you know, Reagan, Carter, failed policy after failed policy since 1970s.
Yes.
The empire is not rotted just last 10 years. This has been going on for 40 plus years.
Mm-hmm.
You know, union membership is low, although the last couple of years it's been going up.
Bill Clinton
Wages
did
in
that. The Democrats under
yeah,
Bill Clinton abandoned the unions.
exactly. I
Yeah.
mean, you can't just uh, pay lip service and say we're going to bring jobs back.
And then they
Just
get in there and they do nothing. Oh, it's
uh,
clicking again. I'm going to mute you and unmute you, see if it works.
before.
We're still getting tapping. I don't know why. Hang on. I will say that George W. Bush was our first appointed president. And the only reason they didn't finish counting during that time was because of 9/11. Um,
I was connecting. I didn't hear the last thing you said.
oh, uh, George W. Bush was our first appointed president. He was appointed
Yes,
by the Supreme Court.
right.
They stopped counting, and then there was 9/11. So once they got the results, 9/11 happened, so they sat on them. But Al Gore actually did win Florida,
Yes, yes.
but he
Even
didn't get to
here.
be president
Yes,
because,
yes.
I mean, who all was it that, I mean, they went and they stormed those people trying to count those ballots. I remember it being Ted Cruz and who knows who else. They drove to Florida to harass people counting votes.
Right,
I just,
right.
I'm just watching it on TV with my jaw on the floor.
But like I said, if uh, if he was good enough and won his own home state,
Hmm.
it wouldn't be that close. Same thing with Kamala Harris. If you are much better than Donald Trump,
Right,
where were you in 2010 when you had supermajority?
right.
You know,
Because everybody
uh,
knows that they're not going to do anything when they get in.
there is a huge difference between being anti-Zionist and anti-Semitic.
Yes.
But everything you say against Israel is in America. Is oh you're anti-Semite? Absolutely not. Even in Israel, so many people want to hang Netanyahu. I think
Oh, it's tapping again. Hang on. Okay. Um, yeah, it has nothing to do with the religion. It is really nothing to do with
I,
the religion. It is a
I
political ideology. Zionism actually goes against their own religion, Judaism. What they're doing is against
exactly.
Judaism. So to
I
be
mean,
a Zionist is anti-Semitic, in my opinion.
you have a crooked businessman on one side,
Mm-hmm.
You have a war criminal establishment Democrat on the other side.
Mm-hmm.
And on our side, you have a Harvard educated doctor, a Jewish white woman, and running in tandem with a black Muslim historian, a PhD holding historian. So these two, with their values, are the most qualified out of the three.
Yes. Yes.
You don't need 20 years in the Senate. If your heart and brain is in the right place, I believe you will make the right decision and you will hire the right people to do the job for you.
Yes. Yes.
So,
I agree 100%. Um, let's make America smart again. Maybe. I don't know.
I
Hang on.
to
Sorry about the interference, everyone. I don't know why it's doing that. I did get a comment. Let's see. My buddy Joe says the DNC is jamming your podcasts.
Oh, why didn't I think about that? That's probably what it is.
Oh man,
That's it. That's it.
that's okay. I'm still not voting for you.
Uh,
You can jam it all you want.
exactly. Can you hear me well?
Yes.
Okay. So this past weekend was the 126th anniversary of the Worden Massacre in 1898, October 12th, in Worden coal mine. Miners stood up and struck. They struck, and they were killed. Seven of them or eight of them were killed, and they were killed with bullets that would have been used to kill an elephant or a moose.
Mm.
Okay? And you might be familiar with Mother Jones. When Mother Jones died in 1930, she said, "Bury me with my boys." And in Mount Olive, Illinois, is where Mother Jones uh, rests with those boys, her minor boys. When I used to be an over the road truck driver, whenever I passed I-55,
Mm-hmm.
I would pull over and there was a diner. I would have a lunch there and then talk to the people, and they would let me leave my trailer behind the diner, take my tractor just a few miles down the road, go pay my respects to Mother Jones and those miners. And this past weekend, I took my whole family with me.
That's wonderful. I'd love to do that.
Uh, More than 100 people. I made some video. I just finished putting it on YouTube earlier today when I was at work waiting for a load. Um, and I teach my kids all the time, no matter what, demand respect for your labor and respect the labor of others, no
Yes.
matter what job you're holding. We were holding hands, singing solidarity forever, food, children running around in the cemetery. It was such a beautiful, um, also touching event. Union Miners of America president Cecil Roberts was there. My God, that man can move mountains when he gives a speech.
Oh yeah.
Oh my goodness. It was wonderful. It was wonderful. It was very sentimental also.
Can you say
I
his
was
name again?
honored.
I think it cut out a little. Can you say his name again? You're good.
Okay.
So who did you hear?
And
Who did you see?
Cecil Roberts and AFL-CIO, Illinois president was there. Many veterans, but
Mm-hmm.
also uh, union members or n- family members of union members who passed away.
Yeah.
And when this incident happened in 1898, because most of the dead miners, murdered miners, were from Mount Olive. They wanted to bury them in Mount Olive,
Hmm.
but the cemetery owner didn't want them there. He didn't want the cemetery to be uh, uh, what you call it, a place for what do you call it, a pilgrimage. Okay,
Oh.
so miners with that little money they earned and the union
Hmm.
wrote a check for $93 to buy this piece of land so they could bury their boys
Yeah.
with the respect they deserve. So 1 year after the incident, they were moved there. It's
Yeah.
such a neat
$93 in
place.
1898.
1898, 1898, yes.
That was a lot of
Yeah,
money then, I'm sure.
I guess it wasn't cheap, but
Yeah.
life is getting more expensive here too. You know, wages are not going up as the rent is. You know, half of the country is paying almost half of their income for rent or mortgage.
Yes.
You know, you can talk all day long about how great America is. For the top 1%, yes, it's the most beautiful place. But the
Yeah.
rest of us, it's getting harder and harder to pay the bills. Everything is getting more expensive, but the wages are not keeping up. But
Oh,
there is a saying in Turkey, when the knife hits the bone, that's when you move. You know, Rosa Luxemburg once said, those who don't move don't feel their chain. So we
mhm.
gotta move.
Yeah.
We gotta move. Marx
Hang on 1 second. Let's try the mute and unmute again. No. Hang on. Okay, try it again. I don't.
All right.
DNC, leave us alone.
All right.
Okay, now you sound great.
Okay. So it took me years to read and understand Das Kapital. It's all like the whole thing is almost 3,000 pages. And after a few pages, it gives you nausea or dizziness. That's how it was. But after supplementing books are read, it makes more sense. But most people read it as, and which is the most incredible uh, criticism of capitalism,
Hmm.
but also it is a psychological thriller. Maybe a boring one, but it is. Like tells how greed takes over.
Yes.
You know, it's incredible. It's incredible. Unfortunately, it's not even taught in schools and colleges anymore. Not even
Yeah.
Ivy League schools. No,
And I think we're witnessing that in live and in color on our Instagram feed right now. Greed has taken over. Property and what is in the ground is more valuable than human life, animal life,
right.
vegetation, everything.
I can't wait on them.
It's doing it again. I don't. Okay, try now. Unmute.
But hey, we made 50 some minutes, so I think
We have 5 more minutes. Can you just leave us
if
alone for
there is
five
a
more
will, if there is a will, there is a way. You know. But
minutes?
like I
Absolutely.
was saying, I'm worried about the world my children will be living in. Climate change is on one hand, AI taking over. Who
Hmm.
knows what kind of robots will be our overlords, you know. But the education my children receive should have nothing to do with what neighborhood I live in.
Right. It
Even
it should
more,
be it should be cut from property taxes. It should just be
complete,
funded across the country.
just like elections, right? I mean,
Yeah.
I am against all kinds of money in politics, including union money or any money. Just
It should be just the
if you got
public,
a
and
signature,
everybody should have the same.
exactly. Yeah,
Mhm.
depending on what state you're running.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you
If you've proven that you have enough support to run for an office,
exactly,
you should be on the ballot. You should get the
exactly,
same money as
exactly,
everyone else.
right.
But thank you, Citizens United, for making bribery legal. Cool.
Supreme Court, which is not very supreme. Speaking of that, during this past weekend, we first hit Lincoln, Illinois, to see the Lincoln Museum.
Yeah.
Are you are you hearing me?
Yes.
Uh,
No,
okay.
I was laughing at my buddy Joe said resort to rhyme if we can't like talk.
Right, right, right.
Oh, you were saying about Lincoln?
So yeah, Lincoln Museum in Lincoln, Illinois,
Mm-hmm.
and the museum manager was surprised how much my 10-year-old and 8-year-old knew about Lincoln. And on the way out, he's like, you know what, you guys are so awesome. I'm gonna do something I don't often do. Come with me. And he opened the keypad lock, took us in the archive, and he showed my kids one of 9 printed copies of Emancipation Proclamation, and my kids touched it. I got goosebumps just thinking about it. And then he pulled out a very thick law book, opened the cover, showed Lincoln and his partner's name printed, stamped on it. Uh, he says Abraham Lincoln studied from this book, and my kids held it.
Oh
And
my gosh.
I get teary-eyed just thinking about it. From then, we went to Mark Twain's hometown, Hannibal, Missouri.
Mhm.
We spent a whole day there. A lot of history, a lot of education, a lot of culture in there. And then went to St. Louis on the day of Indigenous Day because that arch represents the gate opening to the west.
Mhm.
So being there on the day of Indigenous Day was interesting, of course. But across the arch is the old courthouse where Dred Scott conversation and decision was
Mm.
uh, took place. Yeah, so told kids about it a little bit. They're a little too young to digest that, but I came to that because we talked about the Citizens United
Mhm.
decision of the Supreme Court, and I said it's not that supreme. It wasn't that supreme back then either. It was a racist piece of people. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
I do.
Back then. So 1857.
That is wonderful that you do that for your children. That is most parents don't. They I mean, basically what we have on television is the circus. I mean, between the sports, I'm going to try to meet you and then come back. Okay. The sports and the reality TV and
She just,
oh, that's wonderful. Your daughter did that?
yeah,
Uh,
she is the artist in the
nice.
family. Yeah,
Yeah.
she took it after her mama. It's mind blowing how my wife can draw.
Oh
Seriously.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
I'm
cannot
an
do it
artist as
even a
well. I
kitten.
like to oil paint and apparently you're a photographer.
Yes,
So,
I can take pictures. Yes.
yeah. Yeah. Well, we made it to 8 o'clock. Oh, my friend Yvonne said that's fabulous.
Thank you.
So, thank you for coming on. I feel like
Absolutely. It
we
was
could
a
talk
pleasure.
another hour because I didn't
It feels
have,
like it, right?
yeah, it really does. Um, I have not explored in that way. My parents didn't do that for me. We did like the zoo and Merrimack Caverns and things like that. Oh my goodness. Hi. She's beautiful. So, yeah. So, vote green this
Go green.
November. And you have until October 20th to register to vote online as long as you have some sort of Illinois ID, you can do it online. Um, so, and I guess we'll see you next time.
Awesome.
Bye.
Thank you. Good night.
Good night.